Gale Force AERIALITY to find out who's going to get that next spot into the RLCS. With the commentary of this next match, it's going to be Lawler and Quinn Lobdell. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Axel. Over to us here on the desk. And despite what they've been saying on the desk, Gale Force has actually been having some issues the past couple of weeks, believe it or not, in open play. Obviously, some of that might be due to having to commit to that 2v2 tournament, but they're still coming in as the #1 seed, Quinn.
Yeah, I would totally agree with both James and Gibbs on the desk. I think that these guys are going to come in and pretty much crush it. They have been so impressive the entire summer, from X Games to DreamHack and so on. They have just, I mean, every tournament making to second place. I know that kind of sucks, except for the Universal Open,
It hurts
obviously.
a little bit. It hurts a little
but
bit.
second place is not a bad place to be.
No, the first time we saw a true team do that was Northern Gaming, where they took third after third after third. But to be consistent in that
it's not
spot,
second, though.
Yeah, it's not second. So they're still in that conversation. You talk about Northern Gaming being a team that previously, now envious, was a team that everybody revered as like one of the best. And they're doing what they did, but just a little bit better.
Yeah, I really am just so impressed with how that team has come together. We've seen them really just learn how to utilize each other's playstyle so well and so fast. I mean, they've just come together as a team and playing like one of the very best, but possibly in the history of Rocket League. And to do that so quickly, there's obviously synergy between these guys.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to see what they're doing. But on the other side, as we talked about, a lot of history for this team in AERIALITY. Continuum only being the one still left from that first season on the same roster. He's had some inconsistency problems as well, but we're going to get into match #1 here between Gale Force and AERIALITY. As AERIALITY looking to move it downfield early, as applying pressure is going to be the only way they have a real chance, in my opinion, towards this Gale Force team. But very difficult with that player there, K-Dop, taking that EU MVP last season. As they mentioned, leaving his team to start anew with this Gale Force roster. Continuum gonna win that 50-50 straight to Tylacto, puts an immediate shot on net. I do like the direct approach they're going for, just trying to grab anybody out. As Continuum misses the aerial, Triple Pulse gets a chance to bring that back downfield and into the corner. Usually feelers out, but I do like the space Gale Force is creating. Nobody really overlapping, just covering all areas of the field. Violent Panda coming up, going for 50-50. He takes his life for it, but he moves it downfield. Turbo Pulse is going to slow this one, play it into the midfield, but a good save by Continuum to keep that one out. Pressure still on from Gale Force. Turbo Pulse is trying to play that one underneath, but read well by Tylacto. As AERIALITY has a chance, but taking the fast approach. They had a 2v1 situation there. Probably could have slowed it down, but the counterattack immediate again from Gale Force. Turbo Pulse the first one on the board.
And this is just how good Gale Force is. We've seen non-stop pressure pretty much since the match has started, and it takes one miss off the backboard to let Gale Force get ahead. You see Turbo Pulse positioned so well to capitalize on that mistake. We talked about it yesterday, how important it is to position yourself and allow opponents to make mistakes and be close enough to capitalize on it, and Turbo Pulse is doing just that.
Well, we have mentioned they are the #1 seed here. And that's without, obviously, our automatically qualified teams, Envious and Flipside. But a lot of people do agree that Gale Force is probably one of the best teams, if not the best team right now in Europe all alone.
Yeah, I think that regardless of those guys already having their spot in the RLCS decided for them, I think that Gale Force is probably still playing better than both those two teams as we speak.
Consistency definitely being key here, as Turbo Pulse gets a pinch with the help of somebody on the other team. Look for them. Flamey is the one who's going to try to go for a solo play, getting past two, but the third's still there. As shots going high and wide. Just not able to find on the back of the net for AERIALITY. Continuum tries to go for a demo on that back line, but leaves it open for Gale Force to push it out. Turbo Pulse with an individual flick over the top, read well by Flamey again. Glad to see AERIALITY coming up with that third man, not afraid to apply pressure. It's something they desperately need to do to make sure Gale Force doesn't run away with it. As the pop goes into the middle of the field, played back to the other side by AERIALITY. Tylacto not able to get that one off the wall, probably for the better, as he was being contested right away. As his ball settles into the corner, Flamey trying to go for that boost, gets denied by Violent Panda on his rotation out. And the ball still settles in AERIALITY's side. This is where Gale Force does so well, keeping that pressure on one side of the field and just shutting it down at the midfield. But Turbo Pulse plays a back pass. Luckily for him, his teammate is there to make the stop.
Yeah, that was actually a very dangerous situation for Gale Force. But if you saw, they recovered so quick. They do a really good job that even though they take risks and put three bodies forward, they are conscious of it and rotate so fast. They don't mess around. They just go straight back to net, not even going for boost. So well done to them, just controlling the game.
Having the self-awareness, like you said, being consciously aware of those mistakes and finding a way to counteract them. Extremely crucial as the ball rolls up the wall. TurboPulse already waiting, using that ceiling for using that second bounce. A perfect pass to K-Dop.
What a pass there from TurboPulse, opting to use the ceiling here. And then that gives him obviously the flip reset, and it's so much better there than pushing the ball forward. You see how difficult it was for the goalies there to challenge that pass towards K-Dop, and K-Dop able to just put that one right on target.
About a minute and a half left in the game. 2 points ahead for Galeforce, trying to close out game 1 in this best of 5. K-Dop pushes that one back down, using that backboard. It hits down immediately, gets a demo instead of the ball. Should be fine as AERIALITY has the ability to move it out. Flamey's going to try a ceiling hit of his own. Does win the 50-50, but Violent Panda able to push that out immediately. Subtle touch from Turbo to play it back inside. Doesn't get it downfield, but K-Dop still waiting in the back. A big clear to midfield up to Violent Panda. Shot opportunity comes out, but read well by Flamey. Continuing with the subtle touch. Not able to get it. TurboPulse is showing some individual play on his own. Going to be the aggressor for the team. Sitting in midfield again. A pass down inside. Unfortunately, K-Dop not able to cheat up and get to it. Flame with a shot at the net. Violent Panda on the wall already waiting. It's Tylacto and the rest of this AERIALITY team just trying to apply some pressure to Galeforce on defense, but just have not been able to find the back of the net. Flamey up high, contested immediately. Galeforce doing it very well. Not afraid to go up on that back wall and clear him with these spider touches. 25 seconds left. Flame with the ability to get it over to TurboPulse, but K-Dop again waiting back on defense, not taking any chances as this ball is played upfield. AERIALITY's showing a little bit more aggression. They know they need to score right about now in order to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, with only 12 seconds left, I don't think that this one's going to happen this match. Galeforce with all the answers for just about everything there coming from AERIALITY.
Well, as this ball hits the ground, Galeforce going to take game number 1. And you said it there, they just seem to have all the answers. They're not taking too many risks. They're just playing technical Rocket League. You know, they're aggressing well, they're making pass plays. But when it comes down to it, even with mistakes, there's usually somebody there to cover it up. Yeah,
I think the most impressive thing from Galeforce is seeing how well that the two players in front of the goalie are obviously positioning themselves. It seems that every clear that Galeforce tries to make goes straight to a teammate on the sidewalls, and that's what makes it so difficult for AERIALITY to ever, interfere with those passes, because it's just like Galeforce always has a team member close to the ball. The distribution is so smooth right now.
Yeah, everybody getting involved. We talk about how big of a crucial component Violent Panda has been for this team, just setting everybody up. But pretty quiet that game. He did have a couple saves here and there. Pretty much the only one to have a savior medal on that side. But for him, all together is just his ability to stay quiet, but also be so impactful. It's really unique.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, I think, the best support player in Rocket League right now. He's so good at just playing a selfless game. He doesn't mind doing all the dirty work, just sitting on defense and letting K-Dop, who usually opts to stay further up the field and playing a little bit more aggressive a role. He really just gives K-Dop so much more freedom by letting himself do all the dirty work, or maybe the less fun defensive stuff.
And that's scary, allowing K-Dop to be and have freedom to do whatever he wants. And then you also pair that with TurboPulse, who is another dangerous proponent up on that offensive side. But one step closer here to trying to get into the RLCS. This is a qualifying match. Person who does lose will drop to the lowers and has a chance as well later on in the day. Trying to do it early and often here. Violent Panda with a soft touch back inside. Fortunate for Galeforce, there's someone there waiting from AERIALITY, as K-Dop's going to take a delayed hit here, just feathering and making sure to utilize all that boost he has. Doesn't pan out for Galeforce as AERIALITY up quick here. Tylacto playing that down and into the midfield to a waiting Violent Panda.
You just pay attention to how fast Galeforce is challenging this ball time and time again. AERIALITY can't get the ball out of their own half. They're usually forced to hit the ball too far out of their own possession, and as a result, they can't follow up on the ball, and that's just because of how quick Galeforce is to challenge the ball.
AERIALITY is starting to go for some individual solo plays, and I do like the ability to slow down that pace. It's buying them a little bit of time. Unfortunately, the defense of Galeforce there to shut it down every time as a double commit comes in, but it pays off. Flamey going to be the first one to put one on the board in game number 2.
Yeah, really good bully here on K-Dop. Forces him to jump to dodge the demolition, and then just putting the ball on target. Obviously, all Flamey had to do, and he did it well.
Pretty quiet in game number 1. Same story here in game number 2. A minute going by for the first goal. Is K-Dop going to win that first 50-50 and able to push it down, but Violent Panda trying to go for immediate response. Gets blocked out by Aeriality's defense. As Continuum goes up early, plays that back across to Tylacta, who puts a shot on net. Back to Continuum. Beautiful pass play from Aeriality.
Yeah, well done here. The good distribution. K-Dop not getting good enough of a touch here. He actually leaves Turbo Pulse a little bit stranded. Turbo Pulse has the option there, either challenge the ball, stay in net, and opts for challenging the ball, which I'm not sure how I feel about it. It wasn't the greatest shot either. He might have had more success there playing in the net, and that's going to be a 2-0 lead so quickly already. Struggling so much in our first match to get on the board, and then game 2 just taking that lead so fast, showing that Aeriality does have the ability to capitalize on Gale Force's mistakes.
Hey, they did make it to this match for a reason, only dropping a couple games on their way here. As they move in, a minute and a half has gone by. Game number 2, totally different story, complete opposite scoreline. As Gale Force trying to work some magic here as they move out of their own half. Turbo Pulse is going to try to go for an individual carry. Does not work out, gets shut down again. Tylacto doing a good job of that midfield pressure. As Continuum sneaks up, trying to play this through. Does not win that contest. Saw K-Dop trying to sneak underneath to get a soft touch and maybe a flick inside, but Aeriality able to get on top. K-Dop with a pass play over. It's going to hit the crossbar. Can he get the second touch? No, but he settles it in front of the net. 2 players, 3 players, everybody involved for Aeriality to clear that one out.
Yeah, a little bit unconventional of a clear over there.
Hey, whatever works, man, to get that ball out of my own half. I'd be panicking too.
But something that they are doing much better, Aeriality, is the pressure game. They're not waiting nearly as long to contest the ball, and it's something that you just look at Gale Force. They don't let the ball travel very far at all before somebody goes up for an aerial. They try and go up as soon as possible in an effort to get them to give up possession. And it looked like Aeriality were kind of struggling with that pace initially, but it seems they've adapted to it.
Glad to see them adjust and keep this closer and closer as this ball's going to go. K-Dop tries to put a quick shot on net, but Flame able to let gravity help him out here as he goes for a fake pass. Violent Panda, unfortunately for him, Continuing comes in and knocks it out of his way.
I think there's an awkward play there. Not all of them have enough boost to get around the ball and get that side pass going there. So just a little bit of team play.
Definitely a little bit of hesitation as this ball played back inside by Gale Force. Turbo Pulse trying to beat Flame to the wall. Flame has the boost this time. He's going to do another air touch, tries to flick it out, but it ends up hitting too far to the outside, doesn't play in front of the net. Gale Force able to get this one around and on the board, back within 1.
Yeah, just really well played here from Violent Panda, opting to go for the 50-50 and just trying to get the ball past the defenders here. I felt that could have been better defended there from Aeriality. Again, just another counterattack going alongside the sidewalls as well. It's not the fastest counterattack possible, but again, a good 50-50 from Violent Panda. You pay attention, he's probably one of the
shot
best.
From Turbo, barely saved by this defense. Gale Force trying to close the gap, but there it is again. Aeriality, even though it's not the cleanest, it's wasting no time to push this down the field. And you see it there again, Gale Force trying to counterattack. Flame doesn't have time to get that boost, as he's just trying to buy for the rest of his teammates to get back. Violent Panda up here early, hits it over. Tylacto was able to get the first touch, gets a second touch. But the power of that pinch pushing all the way over, and then good misdirection from Gale Force to bring it back down. See if they can settle it. Violent Panda with a shot, missing just wide. The follow from Turbo Pulsa. We're all tied up here. 1 minute left in game number 2.
Oh, this just has to be heartbreaking here from Continuum. You see, he just gets a little bit too aggressive, expecting the shot there, or Tylacto as well. These 2 players not opting to cover the net and play the patient game that they need to play, and they allow Gale Force to get back into the game with a tie scoreline.
1 minute remaining. Aeriality trying to tie up the series in this best of 5. As Turbo Pulsa gets in the way to slow this down. K-Dop pushing up ever so slightly. Trying to be a nuisance. Continuum has other plans and pushes him completely out of the way. Continuum settles the ball, trying to get past 1. Violent Panda able to win the 50-50 over to K-Dop in the middle. A subtle touch going underneath, read well by Tylacto. As the ball makes it to the midfield. A big pinch and a boomer from Flamey. But like you said, Gale Force and now Aeriality matching that pace. Almost no time wasted to get to that ball. The hesitation not there as Turbo Pulsa almost wins a 50-50, falling into the net. 20 seconds left on the clock. trying to end this one in regulation. K-Dop changes the pace, passes that back to Violent Panda. A flick up to bring out one, does not get the second. Well read by Flamey. Ball still in the corner, played downfield. Only one to beat for Tylacto. Takes a little bit too much time. This one's probably going to settle. We've got our first overtime in game number 2.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how AERIALITY adapt to the pace of GALE Force, seeing if they come out very, very strong inside this overtime. Obviously, GALE Force with the lead, and the game lead, I mean, they're not going to be feeling as much pressure as AERIALITY here.
Well, GALE Force trying to score this one, put them in match point opportunity, and Turbo Pulsa with a shot underneath.
Just great distribution here to Turbo Pulsa. You see from K-Dop just opting to go for the slower touch here. It gives Turbo Pulsa so much time to place that shot, and he beats 2 defenders as well. A beautiful shot there coming from Turbo Pulsa. But at this point, that's just a regular day for the guys over at GALE Force.
Something about Turbo Pulsa as well, matching with K-Dop, just the offensive power these two have. Turbo Pulsa with 6 shots on net, hitting 2 goals only, but still plenty of pressure coming out from the entire team. And we saw it as well during the World Championship, the first time in a while that we saw someone with as much accuracy as Turbo Pulsa. He was averaging like 40% throughout all of the World Championships. It's pretty ridiculous.
I don't think that the amount of shots that Turbo Pulsa has, you know, is a negative thing at all. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and it actually forces the goalies to use a lot of boost, takes them out of the game potentially, and forces the defensive team to keep rotating, and that's just another chance for them to make a mistake or there to be a miscommunication. And so just by putting enough pressure on a goal, I mean, they're just creating opportunities and forcing mistakes at AERIALITY.
It's what you have to do, and that's the benefit of that offense. Most of the times, you and I will agree that offense does beat defense for that reason. Not only are you applying that pressure, but you're also allowing your teams...
that the game is like intrinsically offensive or aggressively oriented. Yeah,
because you have the ability to go and get boost. It then forces
boost control is just such an important part of the game that offense really gives you actually a lot more freedom.
Right. It's unbelievable to see how GALE Force does it, because primarily they were a defensive team last year. Obviously, they had a totally different roster, and they just barely missed out on the ability to do stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's a completely different play style than the one that we saw with Pashy. And I think that just looking at how well GALE Force takes 50-50s is a big part of their success. If you watch, I was trying to say, Violent Panda, probably the best at 50-50s right now in Rocket League. It feels like he's never losing the ball, and that along with K-Dop, who's no slouch either, known for his 1v1 and 2v2 gameplay, where 50-50s are absolutely paramount.
Well, Fireburner was probably the first one to originate the 90-10, as he was also one that never lost 50-50s. But Violent Panda making moves here. AERIALITY trying to come off to a quick start again, playing this down into the other side, but GALE Force always ready to push it back. A shot top left, K-Dop showing his own accuracy on this one.
Oh, just starting so fast here. Again, their ability to utilize space here, putting that ball high up in the air for Turbo Pulsa, it forces the defense to rotate back. None of them can challenge, so they all opt to go to goal, and then actually gives space there for K-Dop to take a shot. And again, it's such creative play here coming from GALE Force, and it's so difficult to defend when they change the height of the ball just constantly.
It's so difficult as well. Flamey, you saw him rotating back, and that slight hesitation, he's like, all right,
well, they had to rotate back. They weren't going to be able to challenge Turbo Pulsa that high in the air, so they just opt to go back defensively and expecting Turbo Pulsa to perhaps take a shot. He doesn't.
Violent Panda able to get that one across. Difficult situation, but he handles it well. As it relieves pressure, K-Dop going to push that back down into the corner. Flamey playing this one a little bit slow. Doesn't matter. Turbo and Violent Panda both there on the charge. Violent Panda going to lead the charge himself. 2 on the board. Another quick response.
Yeah, interesting to see Turbo Pulsa just kind of opt there for the potential pinch. He sees Violent Panda has it though, and Violent Panda such a tight angle. Both defenders going up to challenge him almost immediately. It's still not enough. Violent Panda. James Bott talking about it. He's so impressive.
Game number 1, 2-0 in favor of GALE Force. Game number 2, AERIALITY goes up by 2, and now we see the opposite yet again. GALE Force wanting to close this one out early. They want that RLCS spot as they are on match point. 3:45 left in game number 3. Still plenty of time for AERIALITY to come back. But they got to find a way out of their own zone, and GALE Force is not making it easy. Another shot at the net from Turbo Pulsa just high. As K-Dop swings in, puts another shot on the opposite angle of the corner. What placement again from K-Dop.
Yeah, 2 defenders even in net, and K-Dop still just opting for this shot. Beats both of them. It seems that Tylacto, excuse me, just eking out of the net a little bit early. It's important to realize that being 2-0 down this early in the game, they're going to start having to take risks. You're going to have to start seeing that goalie inching forward in an attempt to get a quick counterattack goal, because they've been struggling to score goals almost this entire series long. AERIALITY are going to have to make something happen here, and that could potentially put them even further down.
That's the difficulty. Taking risks against a team like GALE, who punishes you so well on it, but you have to make something happen. A soft touch over to Violent Panda, able to play that one up. But stopped at the midfield by AERIALITY, trying to create some pressure like you stated. Going for a demo on KDOP. High enough as KDOP reads it well, jumps over the top. Ball into the corner. Violent Panda with a good pinch up high. Unfortunately, doesn't go downfield for GALE. So AERIALITY is able to play that back to net. Going for the direct approach still. Might need to think of something a bit more creative, as GALE has been ready every single time. But Demo's going to stop that rotation, able to slow it down, allow them to bring it downfield. But despite only have 2 up front, they know they have plenty of time as their teammate's going to respond behind them. As the ball bounces into the corner, Violent Panda's going to play that across field to his teammate. KDOP able to get there, plays it, and rockets it back in the midfield. Another boomer of a shot from TurboPulse. This duo of TurboPulse and KDOP will not stop.
It's the whole team. They're incredible. Violent Panda there to KDOP. It's important to realize Violent Panda seeing KDOP moving forward there, that rotation. He spots it, and instead of opting to go to TurboPulse, who's already further ahead on the field, he moves to KDOP, who's then able to distribute it to TurboPulse with that 50-50. These guys are so good, and the scariest part about it, AERIALITY's only goals in the game. We only really saw one fantastically earned goal, I would say, which was the demo goal where we saw KDOP being threatened and bullied up in the net. Other than that, it was only mistakes from GALE that led AERIALITY to come back into the game. These guys are being almost completely shut out here.
Well, with only 2 minutes about left on the clock, they need to do something quick as they're down by 4. Not an easy task to come back for anybody, let alone against GALE. As the pressure continues, GALE not letting up whatsoever. TurboPulse is going to follow this one up and make sure he has a little bit extra control. Does miss the flick afterwards as he's trying to force it out. Left for him, Violent Panda's there behind him to cover him. That's an easy way to play downfield, but AERIALITY needs to make something happen. They need to do it now before it's too late. It almost may be too late. As Violent Panda able to control again. All these individual plays, they're forcing one player out, but then also allowed to waste a lot of time. As the ball pinches off the top, hard read. Flame usually handles it pretty well, but it just catches him off guard as well. KDOP still being a nuisance, and now you're starting to see the double commits. You can tell they're feeling the pressure, as this is probably going to be one of their last efforts to make something happen, but GALE every single time seems to have an answer.
Again, just look at how fast they're pressuring them, just popping up balls there. TurboPulse so ready. Violent Panda off on the side. It looked like they were going to go for that team pinch there, but it's incredible how quick they're still able to go up for the ball and challenge time and time again.
Unfortunately for them, it just seems to be nothing is working. As soon as they get a touch on it, as soon as they try to clear it out, it may be just too soft or something, but there's always a player on GALE there waiting for it. Again, Violent Panda swinging up. Being that last man has all the time in the world to survey the field, and he punishes him. Right,
well, I think Tylacto there was actually expecting his teammate not to get the touch there, and it looked like he was coming out of net to help his teammate out and bail his team out of trouble there, but unfortunately his teammate did get the touch. That's going to put Tylacto out of position.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that touch was right in front of the net. As 2 go up, KDOP able to easily read this one down, and Violent Panda just taking his time with this one as it goes across the front of the net. Flames able to push that downfield. And with only 30 seconds left, it's pretty much over for this AERIALITY team. We're going to have to do it again in the lower bracket. But trying to get some confidence built here as they apply pressure into the corner. TurboPulse and KDOP going to pitch that up into the side, and a big long clear to an open net. TurboPulse is going to get goal number 6.
We see KDOP and TurboPulse both with 3 assists each. These guys, just the distribution between them, the teamwork, it's absolutely incredible.
15 seconds left. GALE looking and excited to be the first team that we have really seen with true, I would say, consistency in the field. Obviously, they've had a lot of second-place finishes in this offseason in the lands that we've gotten to see over the course of the time.
I mean, a second-place finishes, that's a little hard to really completely discredit a team. Obviously, that creates a mental block for themselves, but to even just make it to the grand finals time and time again is an absolutely incredible achievement.
It's a huge accomplishment. And we've talked to a couple pros, and it's like, I think it was Garrett that we were talking to, and it's like, yo, do you think Gale Force could have taken that tournament? And he's like, yeah, they got in their own head. Like, a lot of pros believe that
the X Games tournament you're talking about, where we saw NRG come out on top over Gale Force, another second-place finish that happened this summer during the offseason.
Well, obviously no second-place finish here. They are going to be our second team, though, to make it into the RLCS. Unfortunately for AERIALITY, they are going to have to try it again later from the lower bracket, but that's going to do it for me and Quinn here. Over to you guys on the desk.
Thanks, guys. Great play there from Gale Force Esports. We might have just watched the best team in the world just dismantle AERIALITY there. Gale Force coming in strong, and particularly for Turbo and KDOP, we're talking about, wow, they're breaking off these teams that had auto spots in RLCS. Oh my gosh, they must be so confident. Fast forward to today, easy clean sweep. I'm not sure they dropped a game the entire tournament today.
They did.
They dropped
one. Yeah.
So they dropped one game their whole way through, but Gale Force is into league play for RLCS Season 4 for the European region. And again, we're talking about it. Is this the best team in the world? Let's take a look at the Mobile One high-performance replay from that match. Gale Force dismantling AERIALITY.
And that first game was pretty clean, but only 2 goals from Gale Force, so it was a little slow to start. Game number 2, though, they go down 2 and they battle back and win that game. That was the turning point. At that point, it was basically over for this entire series.
Yeah, and that pass right there from Turbo, that was something special. Really, there is no weak link on Gale Force. Any one of those players could be the best player on their team on any given day. They are that good. And even in dealing through adversity, those 2 goals that AERIALITY scored, they weren't the most impressive goals, but still, Gale Force battled back from behind to show that they can make it happen.
Yeah, that pass from KDOP was beautiful in overtime. He didn't put a lot of speed on the ball on purpose, so Turbo could catch up to it to get that overtime winner. And then game 3 is the Gale Force that everyone is afraid of in both regions, in all 3 regions. That was a dismantling, and it didn't even look hard for them. And they scored 11 goals this series. All 11 had an assist tied to it. They're truly a team that plays within a team. Like, there is no solo plays. You'll see it once in a while. Yeah, didn't really make sense. But you'll see it once in a while from Turbo, maybe once in a while from KDOP, but it's usually set up from Violent Panda or something like that.
And in this case, too, like, even we saw it in the Universal Open, KDOP, he just forces so many shots on net and has so much pressure that a lot of time that just generates scoring opportunities for his teammates, whether that's from a rebound or something just blasting off a post that 2 defenders go for. All of Gale Force, they are scary, scary players. I cannot wait to see these guys play in league.
I was just about to say that. Can we have Gale Force just stick around and play some more matches? I just want to watch them play.
That wouldn't be fun for their opponents, though.
I know. We're going to have to wait for league play, which is next weekend, so it's not too far away. But Gale Force, I feel like a large part of it is just simple awareness of each other the entire time. Rocket League is such a fast-paced game. If you can get that awareness going, get that chemistry going with your teammates, amazing things can happen. I think that's what we saw from Gale Force in a big way. To talk about AERIALITY a little bit, they are knocked down to the lower bracket. They're not out of the tournament just yet. They still have a chance to get into the championship series. What do we need to see change from AERIALITY to kind of figure things out? Obviously, they're playing against Gale Force, so there's a factor of, oh, they're just playing against an amazing team. What would you like to see better from AERIALITY as this tournament continues forward?
So it's extremely hard to predict that, because Gale Force is that good that I think a lot of teams would have looked that bad playing them. So I think they just need to take some time. Like, they probably have an outside chance, I think, for a championship spot. So maybe trying to clean up that offensive pressure. But it's so hard because Gale Force just looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what Gibbs said. Gale Force is going to make anybody look bad, so continue, and maybe they'll just hope they have some upsets or some weaker opponents in the lower bracket.
All right, we'll see what happens. That's 2 matches down for those RLCS spots. There's 4 more to give away, 2 of which we're going to be giving away in our next 2 matches. I know it's a lot to keep up with, but bear with me here. Next up is going to be Frontline going up against the Leftovers, a best of 5. Once again, the winner is into RLCS. The loser stays alive in the tournament and will drop down to the lower bracket. We're going to take a short break here from Twitch.tv/Rocket League. Stay tuned.